Reading of the district's mission statement, providing an exceptional education where all students are known, valued, and empowered to thrive. Do we have any additional items for the agenda? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Monica Erickson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. All right, recognition of visitors. We have Michael Roy from the Janesville Journal, and we have Marlene. Thank you for coming. So, positive recognition. There's been quite a few this week if I look on Facebook, and please help me if there's any that I'm missing. But the FFA has gotten sent people state to state for multiple things. They also got the Minnesota Superior chapter and the Silver Ranked chapter. And I saw that Sophie's going to state, the FFA band is going to state. I thought,
Those are the two I can think of off the top of my head.
okay. The Waseca Fine Arts had showcased 5 students. And within that showcase, Shane Witz got second place. So congratulations to them. I don't know what 5 students it was off the top of my head, so. With Math Masters, there have been a lot of placements in that, a lot of awards for various levels. I think overall as a team, what did they say, 3rd? I think is what Eric said. And then one of the big things that happened is there were 3 seniors that started as 5th graders, and they stayed all the way through 12th grade, which this is the first that's happened. So congrats to Alex, Jackson, and Eric. Anything else?
State speech.
State speech, there's 9 placed, 6 going? Is that
Yes.
how it was? Okay. Yep, so that's this Friday. Good luck to all of them. Did I miss anything? Does anybody else have anything else? All right. Then we will move on to the resolution accepting donations.
I got it up there.
And we have one from Janesville Chamber of Commerce for $2,000, which is 4 $500 scholarships. So do I have an approval to accept the resolution of accepting donations with many thanks?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Katie Cahill. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson.
Cahill,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Joni,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
and Dashner.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. There are no students here because they've had a nice long break. So we'll move on to the superintendent report.
We've been busy here at school. We've started MCA testing. That started a couple weeks ago. That's been going well. And that's through 3rd through 11th grade students. So they take different tests over the years. So we'll get preliminary results coming up soon. We cannot talk about those results until August when they tell us that we can release those results. So the individual students will get the results, but we can't talk about how the school has done as a whole until the state lifts the embargo on all of the results. ACT testing went well. We had our junior class does the ACT testing. They do that out at Farm America, so that was on, I think it was April 10th. They went out and did their ACT testing. We had a group that was on vacation, a group of students that are juniors that are on vacation. So when they got back from vacation, I think it was the following Tuesday, they did their ACT testing also. So that's all taken care of. We have our final volume 1 letters training tomorrow for our elementary teachers and some of the admin. The high school staff will be doing some tier 1 intervention with modifications and accommodations tomorrow. And we have South Central Service Co-op coming in to do some of that training. Wendy will talk tonight about our revised budget a little bit. Then we have new faucets in the Family Consumer Science classroom. They were showing high levels of lead, so we went through and replaced those. Last week, we also found that we had a water leak in our preschool kindergarten wing. One of the old pipes in one of the bathrooms was leaking, so that got fixed last week also. Nikki's busy rescheduling spring sports with all of the rain that we've had and the not so pleasant spring weather. So she's doing a great job getting everything rescheduled. However, just so you're aware, we may have to start using a Wednesday here and there in order to get all of the events in. And then community ed, Samantha wrote a grant for some raised bed gardens. They will be here on May 2nd, so they'll be doing some work with those over the summer. And then registration for Summer Sack and Wraparound is currently open, so they will be doing, so if people need to sign up for Sack or Wraparound services over the summer, they can do that. It's strange to say, we only have about 5 weeks left of school, so we'll start to see a lot more field trips happening over the next 5 weeks as testing finishes up, and they'll go on a trip to continue their learning about something outside of the school. I met with Adam today, our tech director and integrationist. Following up on our last meeting, we talked about our E-rate, that they asked for us to revise it because we didn't have that much money in the E-rate to use. So he did send off the revisions. The review is complete, so it's out of the review process, waiting for final approval. As a reminder, that would be an increase of just over $12,000 to our budget for next year because of that change in the E-rate. So it goes from $49,121.45 to $61,617.43. And then I was keeping everyone updated on our Chromebook lease that we agreed to at our March meeting. They came back with the new tariffs that came out saying, well, we can't honor that price. And then on Friday, they gave us the newest price. The newest price came back to, each year lease was supposed to be $95,387.24. It's now $95,981.67. So it's just a little bit under $600 increase each year of the lease. So that's a lot different than the original $17,000 increase they quoted us when the tariffs first came out. That's all I have for now. I will talk a little bit down farther when we, for approval for the Chromebook carts for the classrooms that don't have them yet. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. So any questions for me?
Okay, thank you. We will move on to budget information.
Since I was working on the revised budget, we were gonna look at that. It's just got our cash balances and student counts on this presentation.
So our cash balance is trending like it has in the past. And their student counts are staying where they have been. Actually increased one this past month.
Any questions on that? Perfect, thank you. On to the committee reports. Certified negotiations. Katie, Dave, that was you two, right? And Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just met with Jeremy to discuss his contract is all.
Looking at dates to start negotiations with the teachers union.
Okay. Anytime soon? Have they given
Hope-
any?
Hopefully soon. They have, all of our union groups have let us know that they're ready to negotiate whenever we are.
Okay.
Question, we don't do that non-certified until the certified are done, correct?
That's been past practice,
Okay.
so if we want to change it, we can. If they want to change it, they can. That's their choice.
Oh,
But
okay.
typically, we start with the largest bargaining group, which is the teachers,
Mhm.
and then work down from there.
Okay.
All right, on to the policy committee. So we met last week and looked at some, there's some added to approve. We are, there was one I was gonna talk about. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, the question came up at the study session about the one that we're rescinding. And so we researched that one, and so we'll talk about that, what we're rescinding that one for.
In old business.
Yep. But other than that, just looking at the ones that MSBA sends down, and then kind of starting in a cycle of the whole list of policies and which ones haven't been reviewed for a while that we review and then bring in, so. That was about it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, on to the consent agenda. Before we talk about that, I just kind of want to make a comment. After we came back from the MSBA meeting, or the conference, one of the sessions that I was in talked about resignations and the fact that we don't approve resignations as a board. They recommend that we acknowledge them. And so we had done that that month. But then after kind of talking a little bit and talking with the lawyer and stuff like that, that just to follow the practice that we had before where we just put it in the consent agenda and approve it, but just know that we're acknowledging it. It was just one of those things, hey, we learned a new cool thing, and so that kind of thing. So this time they are back in the consent agenda. So anything that you guys think need to be pulled out of the consent agenda?
So does this mean we're short one high school para now and one custodian?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Monica, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Katie. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. So then on to the old business, and there's a certain reason that it's being rescinded, but Jeremy knows more about it. I got my thing right here.
Good.
Because it refers to,
Oh, it refers to the profile of learning.
yes.
That's, yeah. we
So
talked
that's why they want this rescinded, is it's an old policy, and everything that it's referencing is is something that we no longer acknowledge.
It's obsolete.
It is obsolete. That's from way back when I was in college, I think. So that's why MSBA is recommending that we rescind policy 617.
So any questions on that? Okay. Then do I have a motion to rescind policy 617?
I'll motion.
Motion by Dave Olson. Do I have a second?
about. I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. New business.
No.
Second part of the.
Second
Oh,
part.
discussion of the staffing changes.
Yeah. We've had a few staffing changes that, throughout the resignations and things that have happened. So, with that, I will be getting you information on my recommendation at our study session coming up the beginning of December on which way we want to go, if we want to look at hiring a dean of students or an assistant principal, to help fill some of the gaps in there. So I will let everybody know in the research that I do for that at our
In May.
in May at our study session.
Okay.
So the gentleman that is the special ed director is not there, because I'm reading through the agreement, and it's talking about needing special education administration also. No? Oh, this is just paying him?
Yeah,
No,
that's an,
we're on old business.
Well, I was too a minute ago. Sorry. Okay.
any other questions about staffing changes? Okay, on to new business. First one is to approve Catherine Cahill as junior high track and field coach. That one snuck on there, I didn't see that
Very formal, too.
one. Effective 4/16, so do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Monica Erickson.
And I'm abstaining.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. Okay. The revised agreement concerning instructional staff sharing between Wasika and JWP behavior consultant. Well, that's a nice decrease. So, and that's going, is that going forward, or is this passed?
This is passed. So we contract with them for the school year,
Mm-hmm.
and then we pay as we go.
Right.
And then there'll be a cleanup in the fall.
And who is the behavior consultant?
24, 25.
Megan Johnson.
But wouldn't we have already
Oh,
started the
okay.
year on this, on the old contract?
That's why it's a cleanup is there.
Oh.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right. Any questions on that?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. approving the agreement concerning instruction, no, we're on the next one, right? No, we're at,
No,
oh,
Yeah.
there's another, it's instructional staff sharing. Yeah.
for special education.
Yes, this is what threw me.
That's why,
Yes.
that's what was throwing me off here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the instructional staff sharing between JWP and Wasika for special education administration.
Right, so this covers our director of special education, our financial person for special education, and the secretary for special education. So we pay a portion of all three of their salaries.
So my confusion was, is this a new person or this is the same?
This is the same.
Okay.
Yep.
okay.
This one just has two people on it.
So just have Angie and,
Jeff?
Yeah, I
Jeff.
think, we're not going to be paying for the administrative assistant this school year, because she was new and hasn't been supporting the outside districts very well as she, once she gets a little more experience, then we'll probably start seeing her name on there, but,
Okay.
we're just getting billed for, the director and the financial admin assistant.
Perfect. Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the special education administration?
So moved.
Motion by Monica Erickson, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. So now on to the approval of the subscription agreement for frontline education software.
Frontline education software, this is what we use that does our time and attendance. It does all of our applications, and so this is a program we use for hiring subs. It does all the calling for us and everything, so it takes care of everything. Our teachers and staff just have to put it in, and it deals with it. And then we also use this for our application process, among other things, so,
And the system is working well?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
There are other systems out there. Mixed reviews, so.
Okay.
Right now, our recommendation is to stay with this one.
okay. It's always good to look, just in case.
True.
Any questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the subscription renewal for Frontline?
A motion.
Motion by Dave Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. On to the revised budget for fiscal year '25.
So it just kind of opens with some notes about the different areas, enrollment. That's the biggest driver of the change in revenue is that my preliminary budget used a number of 645 students, but our reported ADM is at 623 right now. We kind of talked about enrollment and how that all kind of plays out. So then when I took out a few more PSEO students that will get entered in May, probably in June, I'm looking at budgeting at 607 students. So there's just some notes about the different areas of the revenue as you scroll down, and the food service fund and the community service fund. A note here on the community service fund, as I looked through our fund balances, there were some areas between general and community ed where the restricted fund maybe had an excess and another that had an overspending that I didn't catch at year end last year. So just doing some transfer, $130,000 from the general fund to community service to clean up that basic skills fund. And that's going to cover the Kids Corner salaries. Peggy and Kennedy's to kind of use that restricted money for them. Debt service fund is kind of set based on our debt that we owe this year, so that's 105% of our payments is what we budget for, and what we get in the levy for our debt payments. And then our capital project fund is closed out this year. We had a small amount of interest earned in there from July to October when we finished cleaning that account out. And the expenditures, I just kind of went through and looked at our actuals so far throughout this year and projected out a few more things that we knew might be coming. I guess nothing real important to pull out. Capital project fund again is zeroed out, so we spent the money that we needed to per statute in October. So the following pages are just the charts, kind of showing the revision next to the preliminary. In our general fund, I'm projecting that we'll end up with a 14.8% on non-reserve fund balance, and we like that to be at 25%, so we'll have to make a plan for next year. I will be making a plan for next year to increase that. You know, we did a lot of big projects in the last couple fiscal years with our roof. We have, and the track resurfacing and, you know, installing vape detectors and a few other things to kind of spend down. Some of our excess, we spent a little more than we intended to, I think, than a couple of years ago when we talked about spending down our giant fund balance. So we'll just have to kind of work on building that back up again in the next few fiscal years. And then the next pages are the community service and food service, just showing that we will end with fund balances in the positive. That's what I'm projecting based on better information as we went through the year. So. Are there any specific questions on different areas or anything else I can explain further?
When we're talking about our general budget,
Mm-hmm.
one thing is we have to remember we spent a couple years under levying also.
Yes, we did. Yep, we did. So we did not maximize our income revenue for a few years in order to kind of ease the bond payments, the new bond for the indoor air quality. So the taxpayers didn't see such a huge increase those years when we purchased the bonds and worked on that project.
Any questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the fiscal year 24 revised budget?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Katie Cahill, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Monica Erickson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. So the next one is first readings of policies with substantial changes. So these were ones that came down from MSBA with a bunch of changes, and then as the policy committee, we went and reviewed them, and so now they're up for everyone to review before we approve them.
So there will be 3 readings on these. So tonight's the first reading, and then we'll have a second reading will be our study session. And then the final reading will then be the next board meeting in May.
So if there is any questions or comments, let us know. So we can look at that. So now on to the Chromebook carts.
Chromebook carts, so with the discussions we've had for the way we want to be using the new Chromebooks and stuff, that means we're gonna need carts in a number of the classrooms, 32 of them actually. So this is the quote we just received late last week, or early last week, sorry, for Chromebook carts. Now, we did hear from the company today saying that their quotes are normally kept for 30 days or so. However, they're changing some things and only doing 15-day quotes due to the tariffs and everything that are out there. So this is one we'd like to get ordered and get moving on right away.
Mhm.
And how many do they fit in one cart?
There's
Yeah.
more space than what we need. I don't know if it's 30 or if it's 40,
Okay.
but we'll have 25 in each 25 Chromebooks in each classroom. So there'll be room for 7 additional or 7 other things. And then these all come pre-wired and they already have the plugs in them and everything else, so.
Okay.
We have a sample of one in Mr. Metesky's office if anybody wants to see it.
I see it's Lenovo, but the Chromebooks we're getting aren't Lenovo, are they?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
The
I just
brand
want to make
doesn't
sure that they
matter.
were compatible.
Yeah, it is. It's
with
just,
charging or
it's all
anything.
about the plug-in.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
okay.
yep.
As long as you guys checked it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So are there any of the classrooms that don't fit 25 kids that we're gonna have less Chromebooks, or is that just across the board we're going?
That's just across the board. That's what we're
So some
going.
that would maybe have more, that you just shift,
Yep.
is what you're thinking?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So they don't make a smaller cart for those classrooms?
Mm-mm.
This is as small as it goes? Okay.
Do they take up a lot of space?
No, they're not. They don't take up a lot of floor space. I was surprised.
I was just thinking if they were cheaper.
Yeah.
If you had like a 10
Mm-hmm.
Chromebook one or something.
Not that I've heard of.
Because the ones that we do have, how many do they hold?
I think those hold 40,
Oh, okay.
the ones that we do have. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 40.
And was there any looking into,
He's looked at a number of different companies and
to get different sizes?
different carts and everything else. So
Okay.
this is the one that we've landed on.
All
And there was
right.
something special about this where it didn't have like a bunch of cords or.
Yeah, it's already pre-done. The cords go right to the, are hooked into the cart, so if a cord breaks or something, you just get a replacement cord, and there's a red and green light to show us if they're plugged in or not and charging.
And he's able to replace those?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Every time I say that, Katie or I come up with another question.
Sorry. Good questions.
Yeah. All right, do I have a motion to approve the purchase of the Chromebook carts?
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Monica Erickson. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we have a big list of upcoming meetings. May 5th is a study session. May 19th is our regular meeting. June 2nd is a study session, which is going to include the curriculum and instruction presentation. June 16th is our regular meeting, and then July 21st is our regular meeting, as we don't hold study sessions in those 2 months. And then August 4th is a study session, including the finance and operations presentation. And then August 18th is a regular meeting. So with that, I will adjourn at 6:05.